Hey, welcome to video 2. And in today's video, we're going to show you the results, the student results as well, what I'm doing and how we went from 10K to millions, because the proof is in the numbers. And I'm going to show you a lot of different things behind the scenes of what I'm doing, what our students are doing, so you know that this stuff is real. Because a lot of what we're going to do in the masterclass is basically so you can prove it to yourself that you can do this too. Now, before we get into the rest of this, if you haven't seen video 1, I do suggest you go back. It should be somewhere on this page. You can see video 1. Go watch that video first if you haven't. Otherwise, hey, stay right here because we've got a lot to cover. Now, I do have to do a little bit of legal beagle stuff. Look, I'm going to dive into my personal results here. And I don't claim anyone will make multiple 7 figures. You probably won't. In fact, a lot of people don't apply what they learn or apply it wrong and don't even make $1. So I simply don't know your life and work habits. So I've got to put this little bit of a disclaimer in here because this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a real system, a real business with real results. If you put in the real work. So you'll see a lot of case studies and examples and some big bloody numbers. I'll showcase some outstanding results, but they're not typical, okay? So if you don't put in the work, you won't get results. Pretty simple, right? So yeah, this is, trading and everything else we talk about is challenging, potentially rewarding, but this is for educational purposes only. I'm not soliciting, any particular crypto, yada, yada. Look, you're fully responsible for what you do, all that kind of good stuff, disclaimers. The bottom line is use common sense and that thing between your ears, okay? Now that we got that out the way, I am going to show you how 10K turned into $4.2 million over 3 years doing one thing 20 times. Now you see why I put the disclaimer there, okay? These are big numbers. But I'm going to show you this step by step. I'm also going to show you how 1K turned into 20K in 6 days, just a few days ago, and also had the chance to be 258K. However, before I do all this, you may be thinking, well, that's all well and good for you, Sean. You've been doing this for 25 bloody years, but I'm no genius, okay? I come from very humble beginnings. I come from a tiny island off the north tip of Scotland. I had nothing, okay? Very poor community. There's only 500 people on the island I come from. Most of the population's over 60, and the island is only 2 miles by 15 miles. In other words, it's bloody small. There's not a lot of opportunities. So I did get off my ass, decided to make a change, and I came to America. Now, you've got 2 types of people who teach trading. You've got the 20-something who lives in his mama's basement, is good in front of a camera and TikTok and everything else, but let's face it, they're not freaking traders, and most of them are outright scams, and they've certainly never seen a bear market in their life. And then you've got the supposed Wall Street guru who gave up their life of Lambos and Wall Street to teach the little guy. Yeah, bullshit, okay? And this is what really knocked me off, to be honest. I'm neither of those. No one's mistaken me for 20-something anymore, and I never worked for Goldman Sachs. In fact, I came to America with half a suitcase, $5 in my pocket, and it was a time in my life, it was a little bit difficult. I needed a hard reset. Now, this was in the late 90s, and I worked as a seafood chef, but not making enough money. I also worked in real estate, not as a broker, so no commissions for Sean, but I was working in a place where there's very affluent people. I mean, the average house was 10 to 25 million, okay, selling to millionaires and billionaires. And that got me kind of curious. It's like, okay, what were these guys doing to get their money? Where were they making their money? And a lot of them were these Wall Street types, these stockbrokers, money managers, and everything else. And this is really where my love affair with the stock market began. Now, buy and hold, they told me. That was their strategy, buy and hold, okay? I'm like, well, buy and hold what? What the hell do I do? I knew nothing. And like a lot of guys and girls watching this right now, starting from, I knew there was money there, I just didn't know how to do it. So they told me buy and hold. And you've probably heard this a lot, certainly with crypto, is, oh, just buy and hold and, everything will work out great and everything else. Well, listen, I'm like, well, okay, give me something to buy. What should I buy? And this is not me, this is me relying on other people telling me what to do. So they said, hey, buy Yahoo. So I bought Yahoo. I took my life savings at the time. Now, this is in my early-ish 20s, okay? And I knew nothing. But I had a little bit of money saved from working my ass off. I thought, okay, well, I'll go buy Yahoo at $97. It started to go up. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to be a millionaire like them. I'm a trader. I'm doing fantastic. And it went up a little bit. But it didn't go according to plan, as you can imagine. This was at the time that's since been named the dot-com bubble. And I bought right at the highest point in the market, right as the bugger burst. The stock began to plummet. Just hold on, they said, because I'm phoning them up in a panic. Just hold on. It's going to be fine. It'll come back. It's a retest. It's just a retracement. It's good. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. It dived more. Just hold on. That was the message. While I'm seeing them sell their houses, sell their cars and Lambos and all the rest of it, jump out of bloody buildings, and it continued to crash. And it took a full 17 years to return. Now, as you can imagine, I'm not holding on to that because I'd sold ages ago. I watched all that money disappear, and I blew most of my life savings, which was only about 8K at the time. But that was a lot for me then, in my early 20s. But I just wrote that off. I'm like, okay, I fucked up. Okay, excuse my accented French. I fucked up. I'm relying on other people while they're doing the opposite. Now, that was a rude awakening. But it didn't dampen my enthusiasm for trading because I knew there's a lot of money flowing in these markets. Doesn't matter if it's the stock market or later on, because this was all pre-crypto, but later on, crypto emerging and everything else. But I did learn a very valuable lesson. Buy and hold is a freaking awful strategy. Now, it took me a long time to get profitable. But I dove into this one. I started learning every damn thing I read. Every book, tried everything. And there's some different strategies. I won't go into each one, but RSI, CCI, Bollinger Bands, trend lines, Elliott waves, Gann theory, all sorts of different strategies that people talk about. And I kept coming back to one thing. You see, I started in, like I said, 1999, very badly. 2023, I was starting to get some profits, but didn't have the consistency. By 2003, I started to make some profits. 2006, I finally started getting a little bit of consistency, and that's 7 years after I started. By 2016, people are starting to say, hey, Sean, what are you doing over there? Like, I'm in a seminar. I remember one seminar I was at. It was a marketing seminar, and everyone else is yabba, 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 bigging themselves up. I'm sat in the corner eating my English breakfast, and I've got my laptop out, placing a few trades, and I'm laughing, and I've got a guy who sat next to me who's having breakfast, and he goes, what did you just do? And he just watches I made $50,000 before I finished my coffee. And they're like, you've just made more money than anyone else in this room is talking about just while you're having your bacon and eggs. Yep, that's right. But I started getting, can you teach me? Can you teach me? And then, hey, that was pretty cool. So I started teaching people who wanted to learn because I didn't have anyone to actually teach me what I was doing. And it's the same strategy we're talking about in this masterclass, the upcoming masterclass, the TrendFlow formula, okay? And by 2022, I decided I actually really enjoy sharing this knowledge and teaching other people and started to take it seriously. And since then, I've taught students all over the world. I've taught people with zero experience. I've taught people starting with very small accounts. And most of them at least started working around a full-time job or something else. Now, I'm confident I can teach anyone with a bit of patience and determination to replace their full-time income trading very, very part-time. But here's the thing, I'll never have to work again. I actually retired in paradise. My kids are grown up. I had some personal life changes, and I live here in Thailand. I can go to the mountains, go to the beach, jump on my motorbikes, do whatever the hell I want. But there's only so much lazing around you can do. I actually tried full retirement. I just couldn't do it. So recently I've been getting the now what. because the hidden wealth is in the trend flows if you know what you're doing. And I decided it's time to teach other people how to do this and impact lives. So let me show you some actual results. For example, this is doing exactly what I'm talking about here, following what we call the trend flow, okay? And just trading where these trend flows take us. For example, this is starting off, this is Ethereum, and that's $404,730 starting from 10K in 4 years with just 55 trades. In other words, this is as passive as it gets. Hey, I may be only doing one trade every few weeks in regards to this. So this is very much a, if you like, a retirement plan. This is an income long-term plan for this particular one. Here's another one. This is turning 10K, and this is what we talked about at the beginning here, 10K into 4.2 million in 20 trades. And here's the thing, if you ever want to, without going all nerdy, if you ever want to know if a strategy is profitable, you look at the thing called the profit factor. So the profit factor on this one is 9.4. Anything above 1 is profitable. Anything above 2 is like God mode, okay? This is 9. That's why this turned into $4.2 million. Now, I'm going to show you, because people say, okay, well, that looks good, you know, Photoshop and all the rest of it. Oh, look, let me show you this. So here we go. This is Solana, and it's actually increased because since I did that screenshot, I actually had some more trades, and you can see this in action. Actually, it's just created a new position, a new trade, and we're in that one. But as you can see, this is actually starting with 10K. These are my trades. This is over 3 years, 21 trades. So there's my extra trade that added a nice big chunk of money. And this line here is the buy and holders. Like I said, buy and hold. You would have been profitable if you'd bought this 3 years ago, but you'd have rode through some big downturns and everything else. I don't sit through that. I only follow where it's trending, the trend flows. This is what we're teaching in this masterclass, and it's why it's so damn powerful. But as you can see here, profit factor has actually gone up to 9.8 and 21 trades, and that's turned into $4.46 million. And that's just one. I mean, I could show you, for example, let's have a look at Bitcoin. Just Bitcoin, okay? That's turned 10K into $422,000. We could look at BNB or DOT. Let's have a look at DOT. That would have turned, that one didn't work out so well. Now, very profitable over like 3-4 years. Still $72,000, but it's not as high performing as some of the other ones. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, if everything is profit and everything is rolling, that's what this is all about. Now, that being said, let's look at another one. This is a very recent example, how I turned 1K into 20K. And I actually did this publicly. I did a big post about this recently on social media. And it could have been $258,000. How does that work? Well, look at this. This is 3 trades, each one with $1,000 risk, okay? So you've got one trade here that did 4.85 X returns. This one did 5.07. This one did 10.3. Now, what does that mean exactly? Okay, so if I risked $1,000, actually, let's do a quick breakdown. So this was on Ethereum starting on June 14th, okay, over 6 days, 1K risk per trade. So trade 1 was $1,000 and it closed at 4.95 times its risk. So I'm risking 1,000, that turned into $4,950. Not bad. Now, a lot of people would just be happy with one of those, but we had several trades back to back. Next trade was 1,000, which closed at 5.07 risk to reward, so it's 5 times basically. So that turned into $5,070. Trade 3, again, that was a 10 times. That was a very nice run. And again, I'm not including, less transaction fees. I'm not including that just to keep the math simple. But there's only 0.2%. Fuck all. Okay, so that's, again, turning $1,000 into $10,000. So adding all of those up With $1,000 risk, that turned into a total of $20,320 in 6 days, which only took a few minutes to do. Got the signal, boom, 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 place the trade, wait until it ended, close the trade. Done. Now, here's where interesting things happen. If I let each trade compound, that would have been $258,000. Now, I didn't compound it. Full disclosure, I didn't, because I was doing this as a case study for you guys. But this was in a down market when all the so-called experts vanished back under their rocks. Now, let's just do it, because people are like, how does that work? What are you talking about, Sean? Well, let me just do this, okay? So get the calculator up. All right. Now, let's go. Well, where the hell did the calculator go? I've got too many monitors. There we go. Okay. So let me go back one slide just to show you. All right. Now, pull up calculator back up. So, starting off with $1,000. I'm going to do this. Okay. Now, first trade would have been 4.95. Okay. So there's our first trade. Now, if I took that money and then did the next trade with that, that would have then been starting off, instead of $1,000, we start off with 4,950, and then we'll multiply that by 5.07, because that's the next trade. That would have turned into $25,000. Perfect. Okay. Now, let's take that and do times 10.3. Okay? Because that's the next trade. We'd have taken that $25,000 and put it in the next trade. There's your $258,000. Now, that's a high-risk move. It takes a bit of balls to do that. And you've got to be willing to risk $1,000 in this example. But it could have been $100. Could have been $10. It could have been $50. That's the whole thing. You don't have to do the big trades like I do. And I actually trade a lot more than that. But you get the idea. This is the beauty of this market. It doesn't matter where you are, where you start. This is the potential. Okay? And that's why I'm freaking retired doing this. Okay? So, with that being said, you want to see my personal results. I'm going to peel back the curtain. I started, now this is just one of my crypto accounts. Okay? Not all of them. This is one of them. So, I started this Kraken account in 2019. Started off with 25K. Okay? You can see here, starting of January 1st, boom. Now, started off with this, and again, you can see there, turn that into $96,000 in a year, okay, with an average monthly return of 14.42. Now, not fantastic. Actually, it's really bloody good, but that's a average, okay? Now, that is $71,000 in a year and an average monthly return of 14.42. Now, I get better. Not a bad start, but this is where things got interesting. 2020, I started refining my strategy that I'm teaching in this masterclass more. And as you can see here, I actually turned that 96,000 into 651,000 and took 500,000 out, put it in my pocket right here. Okay? And that's 651,000 gains and an average of 18.66. Now, if you had 18.66% return in a year, that still beats most hedge funds. Okay, but we're doing that in a month. 2021, yeah, things got interesting too. Now, again, that's turning into $1.5 million from 247 starting point. And I took out $1.25 million and put it in my pocket, as you can see right there. Again, by the way, these are tax returns and tax reports and everything else with Coinly, which is what we use for reporting. So that's 1.57 million in a year, taking out 1.25 million to put in my pocket, and an average monthly return of 21.68. 2022 also went pretty well. Now, this is only a partial year because honestly I forgot to take a report for the rest of the year, but what I did and copy and paste this. But you can see this is just 8 months, $958,000 returns, took out $1 million, put it back in my pocket. That's a 21.21 average. 1 million taken out, put in my pocket to go do whatever the hell I want. Actually, it was mostly taxes in this year, as it turned out. But hey, that's what it is. In 2023 and 2024, Again, this is about 3.4 million from doing this one thing repeatedly. You get the point here. And we've got students who are doing fantastic. There's Faye, who's up 11%. Again, Reese doing, what was that? Up 9%. 3K on a trade here. And again, this is just so many of these. This one, 5K better off. This one, up 400% for a couple of different people. Okay? Students from all walks of life are having success. Rob, even in a downturning market. Matthew, who's doing 60%, 57% returns. We've got Kristen, who's winning 80% of the time. Alan, who actually retired doing this. Again, boom, never worrying about money again. We've got Bruce, who's, again, starting off 21% in the first 2 months. We've got Frank, who's doing 4 to 8% returns per week. And again, could do this all day. You get the point. I could show you John, who did 90K from 10K, and then boom, he actually went up to as far as 104K, I think, on that trade. Celia, who was practicing, did 18K in 24 hours, just paper trading, what we're going to be teaching. 10% on one. And again, you've got all sorts of others again. I could go on all bloody day with these, okay? These are student results, not just my results. So that's why I wanted to share this with you. And it's very important. If you haven't seen video 1, please go watch video 1. That puts this video in context. And then tomorrow, or the next video, whenever that is, it's going to drop on Monday, we're going to discuss how to continue this journey. I've given you a sneak peek. I've pulled back the curtains, if you will, on what we do and why this bloody masterclass is so powerful. Why I really enjoy teaching this is because I know the impact it will have on lives. I'm going to share this skill with you. You're going to walk away from this masterclass with this skill. You will be able to do this blindfolded. And we're going to lay the foundation for future success. Now, we're compressing a lot of data, a lot of training into this 3-day masterclass. But it's a starting point. And if you lay this foundation, you'll have a skill that no one can take away from you. And if you apply it and master it, you'll never worry about money again. So I'm very excited to share this with you. Do keep an eye out for the next video. We're going to be going into how to get early access to the masterclass, chance to win $1,000 so I can fund your business starting, and again, give you that unfair advantage of a rebel trader. So like I said, I'm very excited for this. Keep an eye out for the next video. And with that being said, thank you for your time and attention. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you there. All right. Take care for now.